The following broadcast is brought to you by Public House Media.
Evening and welcome to the very first show of Loud and Proud. My name is Nicole Kelly and I am so excited to be here with you today. I am somebody who lives loud and lives very proud with her disability. I recently have started a journey of using a prosthetic. I was born a congenital amputee, so I was born with my arm grown just below my elbow. And after living 26 years, I, for the first time, am trying out a revolutionary product. And that product inside here actually can read my mind. And it is my muscles. It is reading to actually open and close my cool bionic hand. So with these revolutionary new inventions, who are the people who are making these? And who are the people who are at the forefront? I am so excited today for the very first broadcast to bring you my friend Blair, who is the man in charge of all of the complete control here that I have. So please, everyone, welcome to the show, Blair. Hello, Blair. Welcome.
Hi, Nicole. How you doing?
I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for joining us on my show tonight.
No problem.
So can you, before we jump into actually what CoApt Complete Control is and why it is so groundbreaking, can you tell us a little bit about the history of prosthetics and what it looked like to be a person living with a hand difference?
Sure. Well, there's a ton of history in prosthetics in general, but if we specifically want to talk about arm prostheses, and even more specifically about the type we'll call myoelectrically controlled, and that is the type that are controlled by muscle signals, the history takes us back somewhere through the 1940s and 50s, where a concept was developed that we realized as humans that our muscles, when we make contractions, emit electrical activity. And for amputees out there who can have muscle contractions, we could record that electrical activity from electrodes and turn it into a way to control a prosthetic hand that might be motorized and has a battery. Fast forward in the history, this is a very brief history, 1970s is where we really saw that become clinical practice. And, you know, the technology was good for the 1970s, but it really didn't change much until recently. A number of researchers for decades now have been working on a better way. We've known for quite some time that these muscle electrical signals that our body can create actually have a lot more information in them than what we were using back in the 70s. So here we are today, and we employ something called pattern recognition. And what that is we use algorithms to detect the patterns of electrical muscle myoelectric activity in the arm of an amputee to control some of these more advanced devices. And why that's really exciting today is we've got really great machines, really great mechatronics. So that is the prosthetic hands themselves have become quite good. They have fingers that are strong. We call them multifunction hands. The fingers move independently. So we've needed a better way for the person, the amputee, to control it, a human-machine interface. So that's what we have in pattern recognition, and CoApt actually specializes. That's what we do. That's all we do. We create electronics that go inside modern prosthetic arms, and they act to decode this set of muscle signals from the amputee's body.
Yeah, thank you. I know I'll speak to my personal experience growing up. The last prosthetic I had before I was fitted for CoApt, I quite literally called my Barbie hand. It was in high school that I wanted it, and I wanted it purely so I could wear something in an airport or at the mall where I was not drawing attention. And I didn't want anything else just because nothing else felt intuitive to me. So tell me then, how did you get to actually opening CoApt and starting it as a company it is now? What was your history into CoApt?
Sure. So your Barbie arm or your prosthesis of the past, there's lots of those out there, and that's okay. When it comes to choices for amputees, there can be a lot. And that's actually one of the most exciting parts. We have something that's technologically advanced, and that's become a choice, and that's great. So CoApt, as it came to be, I'm just one of many, many people that have been involved in both the research, the foundation, the company, really getting this out there clinically and get this to the world so people can use it. Most recently, about the last decade or so, I was involved in a research team that was really focused on exactly this. So to improve the control of these powered prosthetic arms for the benefit of the users. When we were developing, we really came up with something that worked very well. It was intuitive, as you say. It was easy to fit. The clinical team, so prosthetists who are medical professionals trained to fit these devices, they took to it. They liked it. They really saw the future in it. So we decided that it was our task, our job, to step up and bring this to the marketplace so that people could benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know our first meeting, I happened to be speaking at the Midwestern Conference for prosthetists here in Chicago, and I just happened to be wandering booths. I wasn't specifically seeking out CoApt at all, and I'll never forget, I introduced myself to you, and you said, would you like to try out our product? And I, of course, just being very nice, was like, oh, well, okay. What you had me do, this is what I'll never forget, is you had me sit down and you said, pretend that you have a left hand. Well, okay, I'll pretend. But now with your right hand, close your right hand and pretend like at the same time you are closing your left hand. And I had muscles that moved as if I were closing a left hand that wasn't there. Then you actually hooked me up to the machine. So it actually censored and read my muscle movements and what it was doing. And right there in front of me, I trained the computer to actually open and close the hand there at the exhibit table. And my mind was completely blown. So it certainly feels extremely revolutionary to somebody who has always been disinterested in the prosthetic world. So tell me, why is it then that this is so revolutionary? What are the perks of being able to tap into a place where it actually is reading our muscles?
Yeah, that's a great question. So disinterest is an interesting word. Historically and for a long time, a lot of that disinterest is because of lack of real intuitive function. There are other factors. Not everybody likes the way it might look. There's more choices today than ever before. Sometimes they're heavy or they're battery powered, which means maintenance. But at the core of a lot of this is function. If a prosthetic arm is burdensome, then it can become disinteresting very quickly. With this setup, and I do remember that, and I think one of the interesting things is that's the best way to experience this. Many people get their eyes open when we just try it out. It can take 30 seconds, 1 minute, and they understand that, or they're reminded, I suppose, that their body contains this information. So while you were born with a difference in your left arm, your body still has the idea of being able to move a hand, move a wrist, for example. So we expose people to that. So the interest is generated because I think the function is obvious. It can become natural. You have a hand device now, and you can do bimanual tasks, and you almost immediately start to think about how this can incorporate into your everyday life.
Every day I'm trying, Blair. Every day I'm learning.
Yeah. And it learns you. That's one of the nice things about the technology is we're at an era where electronics are very good. We can do amazing things with small, lower cost electronics. And as you learn to use that prosthetic a little bit better, it learns you as well. It gets used to your signals and the way you want to do it. So every day you can learn new tricks. It becomes a little more intuitive. That day you met Jody, and Jody is wonderful. She's another one of CoApt users who's got some experience. And now Jody is a rock star by all intents and purposes and wears it in all aspects of her life.
Yes. Jody is amazing. And her passion for the product also, it's nothing. There's no fake there. She loves the product and she loves it because it works. But also what she always said to me when I started is she was like, I am stubborn and I will put it on in the morning and I will wear it all day and I will work through the things I don't know how to do until I know how to do them.
That's true.
So I have loved being around her. So I'm wondering then, what does the future look like? What is next for CoApt? What is next for prosthetics? What's next for legs? What can we look forward to in the future?
A lot of good stuff. There's some things that we're reasonably confident will happen and we're starting to see happen. And there's a lot of other unknowns. I think one of the really exciting things is some of the exposure and the appeal of what's capable today in today's prosthetic devices really appeals to developers. We're seeing a new generation of scientists, engineers, researchers, artists all across the spectrum really be interested to be involved in the development of new prosthetic technology. And that's great. I just think that means we don't know what will happen. Some things that are already starting to happen are a number of technologies that I'll call complementary. So where CoApt provides an intuitive control system, other developers have come up with better ways to attach the prosthesis to the body to make it less burdensome to wear throughout the day. Materials make it lighter. Battery improvements make it less burdensome to charge and use. There are even things like sensors that can become implanted under the skin, and that will just improve the control of the prosthesis that much more. And as you mentioned, other amputation levels. So the obvious one comes to legs. There are stats that say somewhat for every one arm amputee, there are approximately 10 leg amputees. So there's a different set of numbers. They have great technology as well. Knee joints, ankle joints that have microcomputers in them. They do great things. And these can all benefit from an enhanced, more intuitive level of control. So just across the board, really exciting stuff is happening in prosthetics.
Amazing. I'm so excited to be a part of it. I would love now to kind of answer the weirdly simple questions with you. I know that what neither of us expected was I kind of posted a video of me trying to open a cup of juice. This cup of juice I then dropped all over my cat. I had to bathe her that night. It literally was all over her. And the video is just my reaction of, oh my gosh, I really messed that up. I'm trying to learn this hand and that wasn't it. I didn't get it that time. So I posted kind of a confession of, hey guys, I'm trying to learn this, but I've lived 27 years without it and I'm trying to learn it. And the internet really took to that video. So from that, I have received an abundance of questions, which I would love to answer some of those now, but also would love your help in answering some of them now as well. So starting with, how does this actually go on? There actually a socket here that is made. So my arm actually, let's see if you can see, I'm going to switch over here 1 second. So my arm actually, this is my elbow right here, and it actually just slides on and sits, and it actually holds me tight enough here that I can move around any way that I need, any way that I want. The sensors then are inside here, so I then at this point am able to fully control to be able to open and close my hand from there. Other things, people always ask me, okay, so how long does it take to get tired? Does it get sweaty? What is the actual wear and tear from day to day? Personal experience living into this and kind of working into this is my muscles are still growing. So I personally will wear it for hours at a time, take it off, take a bit of a break, put it on again, wear it for hours at a time, kind of step and repeat of that system. And I know that many people get to the point where they wear it all day. What have you found with people who have worn it longer than I have?
Yeah, really, there's no one answer to that. And everybody uses their prosthesis a little bit differently. And some people choose to use it, intermittently as the tool that it is when they need it. Other people find they get uncomfortable quicker. These things can be heavy for some people and not so much for others. Some people really, it's like maybe we all treat having a new car a little bit differently. And some people will be very cautious, don't take it out in the rain and don't want to get it dirty. And other people really want to put it to use. And our prosthetic devices are about the same. So there's, a great spectrum. We see people that do wear it all day long. If they're out of bed, they're wearing their prosthetic arm, and other people as needed. So that's a great question that really is a good one for any amputee. They would have a different tale for you.
Yeah, fair enough. Absolutely. Let's see. I'm trying to think of other kind of wear and tear questions. Oh, a lot of it is, how many grip patterns can I actually do? And you, the expert on that, please tell the world how many grip patterns I can do.
Sure. So, you're still in the learning phase, so they will come. I think in the next few weeks, and the more you get to use it, the more natural it will be. Again, there's the machine learning, and as you learn and the machine learns, theoretically, I would anticipate from some of our early sessions in clinic that you would be able to achieve somewhere between 4 to 6 to 7 different grasp patterns. Now, there are a lot of folks out there that can do that will have that capabilities. However, they find they may select 2 or 3 of their favorites. And for the majority of the time, they'll have 2 to 3 go-tos, and they'll have a couple specialty backup patterns. And you may find that's where you land. We're not sure. And that's part of it. It becomes very personalized.
It was, I visited the office actually just a couple of days ago while you were in DC. And the boys were helping me, and we were talking through, I was working with 3 grip patterns. I was working with I was working with a power grip, a key grip, and I was doing the point. And I love the point because it's very much emotion. And part of trying to learn the prosthetic is it partly is emotion that I want to emit. Sure. But since I have been using it very consistently, I've learned that what I wanted to change from right now, which this I will add back in once I'm really, really good at it, is I took away the point for now. And instead I wanted a pinch. I found that for little things, like I can't even think of a good example. Picking up a pencil.
Sure.
Instead of fully grasping it, I wanted something that actually could pinch. But a couple of weeks ago, I had no interest in the pinch grip pattern. It honestly took using the arm and working with it and seeing what worked and what didn't work for me to say, wait a second, I think for now I'm going to pause on one and go for another that I now see will be more intuitive for the work that I'm doing. I would have never guessed.
Well, I think that's interesting because what you're describing is you're discovering function. Yeah. And in that function is keeping your interest, or it's generating interest. It's a snowball effect. One plays on the other, and that's really exciting. Yeah, that pinch is a really functional grip. Many people, maybe Nicole, you could describe your own feeling of this, but I know that really an amputee with a prosthetic device, they can't feel with that system. And that is something that researchers and developers work on. But that means that you need to see what it is you're picking up or manipulating.
Yes.
And some of those grasp patterns, if they're very, all the fingers are getting in the way of seeing something, it can be easier in a pinch because you can see what you're manipulating. And I don't know what your experience is with that.
It's interesting. I do feel it, but I feel it in a different way because what I feel is the pressure against my arm. So depending on how heavy something is, will depend on the weight that I feel against my elbow. So I kind of weirdly do feel it, not of course with my digits, but certainly I am still in a phase where I need to be able to see what I'm doing as I'm trying to learn what I'm doing. But I weirdly do kind of feel it, not in the way that you are specifically talking about, but still I'm feeling it in my muscles here, weight-wise, what it is along with the mass of what it is. Does that make sense?
That's really neat. Yeah. There's some scientists out there that would really correct me if I made a guess as to why that is, but we've certainly heard a lot of things like that. And really, maybe it doesn't matter what the mechanism of that is, but the important thing is that's a way for you to become more connected with the device. If you're feeling what you're functioning, then that's something we are happy about offering. Traditionally, other prosthetic devices and control systems don't really offer that so much.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, yet again, I was very disinterested for a very long time. So this certainly has changed my world. I want to give you a huge thank you for taking time out of your night and away from your son to join us and be with us.
No problem.
Here.
My pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. I at this time, before I let you go, want to have both of us give a thank you and a hello to David Rotter. David Rotter is the literal prosthetist who put together my arm, who I went to and did the actual construction. He was going to join us tonight, but is in Guam with extremely spotty internet connection. So we know that he's sending love this direction. So thank you for filling in and being his voice there as well. Yes, yet again, thank you so much for sharing with us. And I'm sure I'll see you in the next couple of days because I come hang out at CoApt more than I should.
Well, that's good. We'll get you set up with some more grips.
Perfect. Yet again, thank you, Blair. And if you are wanting more information, there you can see the website actually to check out more about what is going on. Thank you so much, Blair. Yes. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope that answered questions that I have certainly been getting from people over and over and over again. I hope it was insightful. I hope it was a little bit helpful. I am so excited to continue on with the show. I have shows literally planned out to the end of the year, and it is everything from the basics of ADA law to what does it mean to be a person living with a disability and trying to act, trying to be on stage or trying to be on screen. I am covering every topic possible, and I feel so lucky to have collected so many amazing friends and experts in the field. So next week, Monday, October 23rd, we will come back to you here at 8:30. I'm so excited to have my friend Liz Davis join us. And Liz is going to talk us through actually web accessibility and what that looks like now and what that can look like in the future. Thank you so much for spending time with us tonight. I will see you next week. And yet again, thank you to Public House Media for allowing us to be with you tonight. Bye, guys.